So what if I told you that one of the most complex social documents in a kid's life is their lunchbox? It sounds wild, right? Well, today we're diving into some absolutely fascinating research that unpacks the hidden social codes hiding inside these bento boxes. Because according to this really insightful study on Generation Alpha kids, this thing right here, it's not just a container for food anymore. Nope, it's been elevated into something so much more. It's a message, it's a status symbol, it's even a kind of social currency. So the big question this research set out to answer is, what exactly is this message saying? And maybe more importantly, who is it really for?
Okay, so to get what the message is, you first have to understand the stage it's performed on. For kids today, especially in big urban centers like Makati City, lunchtime has become this public performance. The researchers even have a name for it, the unboxing culture.
And you can really see this incredible evolution here. You know, we've gone from the traditional Filipino baon, which was a simple, packed lunch all about nutrition, to the modern bento box, which is basically a curated piece of art designed for social signaling. It's a total shift from a private meal to a very public statement.
And the stakes for making that public statement, they are incredibly high. I mean, the research found that for these little kids, looks are pretty much everything. And this intense visual judgment creates this high-pressure world where a cool lunch to make you popular, but a simple, conventional one can lead to something the study calls lunchbox shaming.
So how in the world do you even begin to read these complicated messages? Well, this is where the research gets so good. The researchers didn't just stand back and watch this culture happen. They actually created a way to decode the powerful Filipino values that are packed right in there with the rice and veggies. So, the first big value they pulled out is something called paglinga. At its heart, this is all about parental care and nurturance. What the researchers realized is that a bento box that clearly took a lot of effort to make, well, it's like a tangible piece of a parent's love. It's a stand-in for them being there, making sure their child feels cared for, even when they're at school.
But, and this is where it gets really interesting, there's another value in the mix, papapakiteng tao. This is what creates the central tension. This value is all about social presentation, saving face. So the bento box also becomes this public display of the family's identity, their status, even how modern they are. It's literally where care and social pressure collide. And to break all this down, the researchers developed this brilliant tool, the Visual Social Signaling Framework. It's this really clear three-step process. First, they look at the look, the colors, the cute characters. Then, they connect that look to its meaning, linking it back to those cultural values. And finally, they figure out the impact, how it actually affects a kid's social life. Having a structure like this is a huge strength of the study. It gives it some serious analytical muscle.
Now, if you really want to know what makes this research stand out, it isn't just what they studied, but who they chose to talk to. This was a really smart move.
They interviewed just 5 people. And I know, that might sound like a tiny number, but for this kind of deep, qualitative research, it's actually a masterstroke. See, instead of doing a big, shallow survey of tons of parents or kids, they went deep with the people who are the front-row eyewitnesses to this culture every single day, the teachers.
So why teachers? It's all about what researchers call lived experience. These teachers see the raw, unfiltered interactions and the social ladder being built every single day at lunch. By zeroing in on their professional, real-world perspective, the study captures the universal essence of what's happening. It's a clever way to get really rich, authentic data, a really strong choice.
And here's another thing that makes this research so great. It doesn't just point out a problem and then walk away. It actually tries to build a solution. The whole point of the study was to create a practical tool that could help make the classroom a more inclusive place. So the final product of all this work is a visual communication infographic. The idea was to take all these complex social dynamics and visual cues and boil them down into a simple, easy-to-use guide that teachers can actually put to work in the classroom.
So what's this thing supposed to do? Well, it's designed to empower teachers. It helps them spot these visual cues, see which kids might be at risk of being left out or shamed, and gives them a way to manage what happens at lunchtime. It's all about taking the research and turning it into positive, practical action.
So, after all this, why are we spending so much time talking about a lunchbox? Why does it matter? Well, because it's a perfect little snapshot, a microcosm of the pressures and the love that are shaping the next generation.
When you boil it all down, this research shows us that the bento box really has 2 faces. On one side, it's a powerful symbol of parental love and care. That's paggalinga.
But on the other side, it creates what the study calls a crisis of visibility. It becomes a source of social pressure and a way to signal status. And that's the world of Bagpapakitang Tao. And that brings us to the final, really big question that this research leaves us with. In a world that is so saturated with images, where everything is judged on how it looks, the humble school lunchbox forces us to ask a much bigger question. How do we teach our kids to see what truly matters beyond the surface? It's a small box for sure, but it opens up a very, very big conversation.